Hello there, YouTube, and welcome to Wednesday, the 12th of March. 38 degrees again this morning. I think it's 39 yesterday morning, which with all that rain and the humidity, usually the temperature doesn't go down that low, but it did. But it's a 43 now. It's actually quite comfortable, really comfortable. Just the air is so fresh and oxygenated feeling. But anyway, it's Thursday. There's our son's cat that we brought home at the corner down there. His name is Milo. We had a dog, a shepherd named Milo. He's always been a house cat, but he roams around out here now. He's gotten used to it. He just got to a point he just couldn't keep it in his apartment where he was at. So he's very happy and got a whole bunch of cat friends out here. But anyway, welcome to the day. Let's head to the Southland. Yo, come on along. 46 degrees, absolutely dumping out there. Everything was great till we got to about the Longview Kelso area. Yeah. We thought, oh well, the atmospheric river must burn itself out. Oh no. No. It flat came down. Holy moly. Hopefully it'll be nicer on the way. Mama didn't even know. She slept the whole time. I slept. I don't know. I would literally, my fingernails be going in the side of the seat if I was sitting at passenger side. Yeah, I know. You shouldn't be as trusting as what you are. Yeah, I trust her. Anyway, it's a Thursday. Let's go in there and bust her out. And, all right. We're a couple days closer to the weekend. Mom says I ain't done with my nap yet. I know, I can sleep for a few more hours. All right, Mom. All right. Have yourself a wonderful day, and I'll see you as the day goes on. All right. All right. Well, let me see you. Bye. I love you. Bye-bye. Bye. Well, she's looking every bit as good this morning as she did when I left her. It just freaks me out to look inside that thing and it's that clean. That's wild. But, and I'm sure he's probably got caught in the rain at times, but I don't think he was a rain rider, which I'm all for that. I mean, you get caught in them in a ride, but you get people that commute back and forth to work and stuff on it. That just eats motorcycles up slowly but surely. I mean, they're meant to, get wet, but you do it all the time. It creeps in and just, they don't like it. I mean, they'll run and everything else is fine, but I don't know, you just find weird things, bolts get stuck and just stuff. Anyway, let's get this thing done. I'm talking too long here. Let's roll. So here's a brand new ACS pump, and it doesn't look any different than they have since 2010. So, but it's a different part number. At least that's what it did. It superseded. The nice thing is I always try to save this thing. I try to get in behind that thing and close it so that it comes out of the hole where it's held. And then I realized that dadgum thing is part of the pump and you're getting a new one anyway. So now I reach in there with a body clip tool and just knock it out of there and blow the little pieces out. But what we've seen since these things superseded, that they never seem to come back. So something's different. All right, I need to get an assistant because the only thing holding this thing right now is one bolt with just a few threads in it. Get somebody down here, zap that out, pick it up, and lay it. You'll lay it on its butt, like right in here, on what else but a Spyder tire. It works perfect. I've been doing that for many moons. I think I actually came up with that. My kids started using it. You throw a towel on there so you don't scratch his paint or anything. A clean towel. All right. One of the techs from upstairs was test riding a Polaris that wouldn't start. It looks like it's fairly new, but it had nasty old fuel. Looks like it's probably been used on a farm. Probably kids or something found an old barrel of fuel and pumped it in there, and we get a lot of that. But just a fuel flush, and Didn't harm the injectors, but the fuel was bad enough it wouldn't run. But he came down and helped me pull the trunk off. When you take these things off, you gotta follow that trajectory. If you try to go any other way, the thing's snag. But his old trunk, been doing it this way forever. He goes, well, let's stay there. And I go, it's been staying there for many, many years. Old Spyder tire and a rag over it. It's heavy enough, it just kind of like molds itself to the tire and it just stays there. But there's the reason you got to take that off is you got to take that plastic piece off. And there's 4 push pins and it comes out of there, but you cannot gain access to any of that stuff with the trunk on there. You have to take all that off. And what was really bad is it was happening, early on, like 2010, 2011, these ACS pumps started failing and the flat rate was wrong. And the flat rate was for a GS. But the interesting thing about that, there was never an ACS pump for the GS Spyders. There was never one. So they must have had something in the works, and that's where they came up with that flat rate. And with those, it was just a series of T30 screws that held a panel in there. If they had an ACS pump, but you drop that panel out and you have access to these pinch bolts. I might show you what I get out there, but I'm going long on the video, BSing about stuff. But finally the flat rate changed. It is no joke job, because all the plastic on the sides, needless to say, have to come off so you can get the trunk off, because they link together. These do different now, the newer ones, but there's a lot to it. And these little speed clips, I don't know why, but they always use this little ring that stays inside there, and when you slide this thing on, it falls in that hole, it goes click, and it stays in place. Here's the little ring that holds it. You can see that one's got it on there still. See it in the middle, and it locks the clip in place. Well, these, because if you put a new one in there, it's just going to do it again. I don't know why. I just squeeze them and make them fit the hole, because all it's doing is keeping the saddlebag from flopping in the wind, and it doesn't take a lot to do that, because you can see that's just thin plastic. I mean, it's just something needs to hold it. So not super crucial. But if you forget to put the bolts in there, and people put a bunch of stuff in there, it goes, ever since you did that, when I hit bumps, I heard a bum, 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 bum. You hear this slight little rattle, and it was the saddlebag going, dum, 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 dum. It was bouncing, it would move about 5 millimeters off of there, but it was enough that you would hear it. And the passenger on the back would feel it. So, gotta make sure you put them bolts in there. There's the bolt for it laying there. But all right, let's get a pump in this thing. Back in the day, these old twins were famous for the oil level sensors for the reservoir cups to go bad, and people would freak out for the labor that it cost to replace those. The reason being, trunks got to come off, because that plastic cover I was showing you, which is right there, covers all this. And with it on there, you have a little bitty hole. Well, I showed you where you can see the pump sitting there. Well, you can't even get in there to cut the zip tie, much less disconnect those connectors. So in most cases, about 95% or maybe more, you had to take the trunk off to get that plastic plate out to get to the sensors. Of course, you guys have seen the 2020 and newers. They're right there over the where you literally got to take the cup off out of the way to get to the oil filter on RTs anyway. So yeah, that was a huge upset for customers when those went bad and they were out of warranty. But here's where the two clamps, half goes in one part of the frame and the other, and it cradles the ACS pump where you need to get to them bolts, and they're nylocked nuts. Plus you need to cut the zip ties and stuff, you just can't do it without taking the trunk off in that plate. And always have some hose on hand, because these things get a little corroded. See, this is the piece I received, the connector. I need the check valve, which is right there. We'll see what shape his is in, but regardless, all right, they get replaced. They get replaced, because nothing worse than having to do this again just because of a check valve. And the check valve, I think it's about $30, maybe it's $40. It's well worth it. So the pump is captured in these two little half pieces here. One out of there. And then it's got a rubber boot that goes around it and just isolates it or insulates it, whatever. So you reuse those, and it's just bolting in the frame there. You can see the 4 elongated holes that these hooks go in, and you hold it down. But that's the old pump. Now this connector, that never goes bad. It's just holding the hose. But it's the check valve that you need to replace. So I always take those things off and just take a look at them and see how bad they were. And the last one I showed you, just literally the innards had fallen apart. Well, the old check valve hasn't come apart, and it is technically holding air, but she's eaten some stuff over the years. So it's gonna get the nice new one. And this is just one of those. It's a deal that it bites the hose, and I just clean them up and reuse them. Trust me, it bites, because it was hard to get that hose out. That's a lot of work. It may look like flashes here, because one scene I'm at one point, and the other scene I'm at another. But put the new pump in there. Use some good pipe sealer for that. You need to make sure all this stuff is airtight, and you need it. And it's very important to set the ride height of these things, because if the ride height is incorrect, you use buds to do it. And you can use buds all on this one. I don't have to use buds 3 or anything. I don't think buds 3 even hook up to it. But so there's height settings for it. If you're out of those settings, what can happen? And he says his hasn't worked right from day one. And I'm telling you right now, probably the ride height was set incorrectly. The ride height sensor and everything's connected. That was one of the first things I looked at when somebody has a pump go bad. Because if something makes that pump run all the time, you have to say that's not going to work very well. And the pump just goes and bursts. Guys, that if you have one that you can hear the pump, the newer pumps, hard, you can't hardly even hear them now. But you hear the it just runs in little bursts. And that's all it does. But if something goes wrong, there's an air leak or something like that, or the ride height is set incorrectly, it's set to an unobtainable level, the pump will just run. It just keeps running and burns itself out. And one of the things I've seen is that check valve looks black, like it's been going through an exhaust system. So I don't know where the ride height, it doesn't really matter. It wasn't working. I got to readjust it anyway. So, and because this one has I showed you that earlier, it has the high and low, or soft and hard, which is incorrect. It's high and low. It does not change the suspension to a stiffer setting or a softer setting, but you want to use that gauge only. A little digital display will show up on the left side of your LED cluster on these older ones. You want that, put it in the middle. You don't want it high, you don't want it low, or mistakenly hard and soft. It's a level, is not changing the suspension. The reason, 2 things: it changes the caster of the wheel, and it changes the handling, and you think you got an alignment problem, and you just got the suspension set wrong. Step 1 on these old ones is put the suspension in the middle, then do the alignment. Before I do my alignment, put in gear, park brake off, foot on the brake, it'll adjust the suspension. And it's going to adjust it to a ride height, regardless if I'm sitting on it or not. because it's a ride height thing. It's a sensor. It's going to tell you. It doesn't matter whether you're on it or not, because it's going to achieve the ride height. So I do that, and then I do the alignment. On all the newer stuff, they took that away from you, so it always puts it in that position. And if you load it, it just fills the airbag up. The big thing you got going on here, if you're riding too low, the shock is almost collapsed. So when you hit a bump, the shock doesn't have enough room to absorb the bump you're hitting. If it's set too high, it's just going to have a choppier feeling, and when you drop into like a pothole or something, the suspension has no down travel. So you want to be, just, I don't know exactly what it is, there's different things for different bikes, but just for the sake, you want to be in the middle, so it can absorb a bump, and then it can fall into a bump. Because what'll happen if it doesn't, you'll hear this clunk. That was a tire lifting off the ground and everything topping out, essentially. And the ride height is very important on any motorized vehicle for the suspension to work. It not only does it need to absorb, but it needs to be able to come down. You go through a pothole or something, it needs to come down. You want that tire to be on the ground at all times. Or if you're all janked out of one way or the other, you're disturbing the way of the world. Anyway, always check the airbag when somebody comes in with a dead ACS pump, because something caused it. I bet you I'm going to find the ride height that's 100 miles off on this thing. Or it could just be the pump died. I've shown you guys where the motor coupler between the motor and the little piston that runs the air pump, it just disconnects. It just explodes inside there, and the motor runs but doesn't run the pump. This one, the motor did nothing, so that kind of makes me think something was wrong and it was running all the time and it burnt the motor out, because this did nothing. It just made no sound when I activated it. This one is disconnected because it goes, it runs, but it doesn't pump it up. So anyway, either way, all that ride height stuff is very important. And these have a wholly different procedure to setting ride height on them. It's actually really cool, really hard to explain. You got to have buds. There's a whole procedure to it, but really nice. You don't have to measure nothing, and these numbers on these actually meant something, and it would be the same from one Spyder to the next. And the numbers on these mean nothing. They don't look at one and go, well, it's between this number is high and this number is low. Nope, ignore it, because every bike can be different. Every bike has its unique set of numbers, and these are 3-digit numbers. Those are like 6-digit numbers. It's like a serial number. Do not use that. It's some CAN bus thing. And anyway, there we go. Out with the old, in with the new. Make sure you use sealant on those threads. Oh, and make sure you have some SAE tools around, because that is not metric. And I just got to reverse engineer this thing back in the bike and put her back together, and this thing will be should be done. It's gonna have a smooth ride, nice comfortable ride, and it's got new oil and filter in it, because you got to dump all that stuff to do the water pump. It's got fresh coolant, fresh oil and filter. He's gonna be happy. And the map hoses replaced, so it's gonna run a lot better. And that's cool. Quick tech tip for you. Honda silicone, that rubber boot that I was showing you that goes around it isolates the pump from the clamps and the frame and everything else. Spray that thing inside and out with a Honda spray to make it nice and slippery, because you will fight, that rubber will fight you going in there, and you want to make sure that it's nice and slippery. The silicone it'll absorb into the rubber, preserves the rubber, and it makes it nice and slippery, because it's a weird thing trying to get that. You will fight that thing to get it in there if you don't wet that thing down with some silicone spray. So anyway, I need to get my clips so they hold again. there's no sense in replacing them because those little connectors will come back out again. So that's what it looks like when it's missing. So I just squeeze them down and slide them in place, and that's fine. I don't know why they break off. There must be some weird vibration there or whatever, but they're always gone. Literally always. And if you don't hold them down when you're putting it back on, you'll spit them off, and it's really hard to get them back in there. This one's not bad because you can come from the front and go back, but the other one, you got to go from the back forward. And you can't get around the back because you would be trying to put it in from here, and you can't. I mean, you can't. So anyway, a couple little tech tips if you decide to do that. Let's get her back together. Well, hot ziggity. Listen to that old twin sit there and purr like a kitten. She's all kinds of happy. Everything came out well. Came out good like it should. Well, I mean, E-flat keeps that thing nice. That's a lot of work, but it's worth it in the end. Always worth it in the end. You may complain about this and that, you know, nagging about something that was hard to get off or get back on. But in the end, it's all worth it. I think it's just part of the deal. It is with me anyway. You gotta have a little bit of a love-hate as you're going along, and then when you're done, you go, heck yeah. That's the heck yeah part right there. Too bad it's absolutely dumping out there and I can't take it for a ride, but you probably can't hear me. I got fans and everything else going on in here, plus the engine running. But very nice. Hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with this one. ACS works perfectly fine. Got the right height set. Put your foot on the brake. Turn the park brake off. Drop it in gear. Boom. It's nice and quiet. You don't even hardly know the thing's there. You just feel it moving. That's it. 2011 RTS. ACS pump. Water pump. She's happy once again. Happy trails ahead. Well, hello there, YouTube. Oh my. Got that Spyder done. I think I recorded a lot. I think I recorded a whole lot. I just made a nightmare for myself just doing a thing on the Spyder. But hopefully it comes out fun. I had fun filming it. But Danny's watching a whole bunch of deer went across the backyard there. But anyway, it's nice to get that thing done. I think my schedule may be light tomorrow, so yeah, I can get caught up on those Harley ride things. Man, I want to get those things out. Yes. And you guys are going to enjoy it. Plus, I'll enjoy building it because you get to relive the whole thing again. You know? Yeah. That was fun. I think Mother Nature was mad that we went to, you know, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, and all that stuff. I'm sure because she has like dumped on us since we got back. She's going, no, you're not allowed to have that kind of fun. No. So here's the payback. Ooh. Anyway, we'll roll with that. Alrighty, well, thank you guys so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. We will talk to you tomorrow. Same smoke time, same smoke channel. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and you guys have an amazing Friday or Saturday. Thank you. All right. See you in the morning. We'll see you in the morning. Thanks for watching now. Yes. Bye-bye.